I just want to make a quick little video here about a method I've used many times to make viable colonies. It's getting a bit late in the year for this, but this should still work here if I can winter this indoors in a nuc. So what happened here was I was working this hive for other reasons that are relevant, I'm not going to. So I had these honey supers off and down into the brood chamber, checking things there, and of course I found some cells, some uncapped cells, and there's actually one sealed cell. So what I did, actually I'm going to tip this up so you can see it. So here's the cells. I've got quite a number of cells in here, and there's the sealed cell here. So what I did was I put all my honey supers back on, and I put this shim on. Put the shim on here. Of course, this is a gross violation of bee space, but that's okay because this is only going to be on for 24 hours tops. Likely not even that. The reason I put the shim on is to protect that cell that's hanging down. Otherwise, the cell would get crushed on the top bars here. So, if you didn't have honey supers, if you didn't have a queen excluder specifically, which I have a queen excluder in here, okay, then you need to use a queen excluder here, such as earlier on in my season, before I have honey supers. If I'm going to do this, then I have to put a queen excluder on here, because the point is to brush off all the bees. If it's a sealed cell, I need to brush the bees off. Don't shake a sealed cell. If the cell isn't sealed, then you can shake the bees off the frame. Put the frames in here. So I've got a little guy here coming to visit. I think that's just a hoverfly. So put the frames in here. I stuck some other stuff in here, just some honey frames, some stuff that was backfilled and whatnot. A little bit of brood to keep them going for the next while, and I was able to replace that with drawn comb in the brood chamber. That's irrelevant. So what's going to happen here is over the next hours, I leave these overnight generally because I find the cool evening and night hours will draw the bees up better even than daytime temperatures. Today is not a terribly warm day, so I could likely leave this all day. It's fairly early in the day still. But I'll likely leave it for tomorrow morning, and when I come back tomorrow, this will be chock full of bees in here. Okay, so then I can lift this little box off and I can set it on a bottom board off to the edge of my apiary, and then I can do the math. I can do the math on the sealed cell. That sealed cell looks to me like it's before day 14, 15. They start to look a little different around 15, 16. So I'm going to expect her to emerge later this week, and then I can count 2 weeks from that day, and that's the day I'm going to write on the lid to come and check for eggs. I've actually got 6 of these going right now. This will be number 7, and hopefully she'll emerge and mate well, and then I'll have another little colony out of these cells. I think a swarm cell is perhaps slightly, but the best cell you can get. And my theory is why that is because a swarm cell is the only one which was laid to be a queen. You can debate that all day long if you want, and that's fine. But an emergency cell was not laid to be a queen. Super seizure cell was not laid to be a queen. Perhaps if there's a cup in the center of the frame, she can lay in that. Okay, that was laid to be a queen. So anyway, that's my theory on a swarm cell. I've had a really good success with them, and so there you go. I just want to make that little video. This is an excellent way to not only recover swarm cells, make colonies, but this is how I do my splits in the spring. When I do my splits in the spring, I put maybe 2 of these little 4-frame boxes on top of a colony. I'll move 1 or 2, usually 1 in the spring frame of brood into that. You can move 2, fill it out with some feed frames, some pollen frames, put a patty, whatever you want, and then overnight the bees will populate that hive, and that's how you get a nice little split. You're never looking for the queen, so you save a lot of time and aggravation there. So I just wanted to share that. That seems to be a method that really has been working out for me. So here's that nuke all sealed up and ready to sit for the night. The top isn't fitting great, but that's okay. Yeah, you're saying, well, I don't have any of these nice little lids, I don't have these nice little boxes. Well, you should have boxes, but that's okay. You can do this with a full 10 frame or even 8 frame if that's what you use box. And don't worry about filling it with frames. Put the frames in there you're going to need for your nuke. Because again, you're going to leave this in there for 24 hours. You could leave it for 48. Depending on the age of your capped cell. Don't leave it too long, she emerges, then you've got a virgin running around. So again, I didn't want anybody looking at this thinking, well, I can't do this because I don't have special equipment. I do this because it's very, very convenient for me. Because once this is populated with bees, that's my nuke. I don't need to do anything else. You could put a full box on there, then when it's populated, you can pull the frames out, put them in your nuke box. You don't have a nuke box, get a jester box. They're cool, they're not that expensive, easy to put together, and they work great for this kind of thing. So there's just lots of options when it comes to beekeeping, and this is one little idea that has really worked out for me well. So I just wanted to show you the results of this split. This is a different one that I had made yesterday, and I went back and pulled it off the colony about half an hour ago, and you'll see what a beautiful little split that is. Right, look at the bees. That's got a couple frames of brood because I found a few cells, and they just love it. And they move up here. They're almost all nurse bees, so they're going to stay here. They're not going to fly back. You don't need to go with this 2 mile deal. Put them wherever you want. Put them off to the side. If you have strong colonies, you might want to keep them away. Just, you know, I've seen them be robbed out. It's not a huge problem. Keep them away from your other nukes. I put that date on to check for eggs, and you can see here I've got 5 more of these going. This is really not the best setup. It looks really nice to me. I like the way it looks. For mating, it's not the best idea. They can get lost and confused. But these will be checked here in another week, and maybe we'll have some laying queens, some new nukes that'll winter and come out and produce next year. So have fun.